Hey,
Wow.
hey.
Come on now, Wednesday. Oh,
Let's
you
get
guys.
into it.
Sorry, I was just finishing a text. Should I instead do the show? Sorry, I was
Let's do the
distracted.
Here
weather.
we
We need
go.
to
Thank
know.
you.
Is
I
this,
just admitted I had a work text I was doing. Okay, so let's
yeah.
take a look. It's a sunny day outside and it's hot, but I just took a quick lap around the old condo building in Lakeview, and it doesn't feel as bad as it did the last couple days. You'll notice it out the door. It is sunny, not a cloud in the sky, and it's warm. We're going to get to near 90, but the dew points have dropped off pretty considerably. Still in that uncomfortable range of the low 60s, but not too bad. We were at dew points in the 70s the last couple days, so we'll certainly take that. And that's the trend moving forward over the next few days. We're going to stay in the 90s pretty much the next 7 days or so, but the humidity a little bit lower, at least until late Sunday. So if you got plans for the 4th of July, put your masks on 6 feet apart, blah, 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 blah. But temperatures into the 90s, and it should be pretty nice. The humidity comes back into early next week, as does some of the rain. Latest heat index at O'Hare, 87, which is still pretty warm for 11 a.m., but again, not too bad.
That blah, 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 blah might have been the most important thing you said.
Yes.
We need all of those blahs. Okay, you guys, just be safe. Do your best. Of
Yep.
course, enjoy your weekend and get outside, but please try to be safe.
Mhm.
We'll keep it going. Are we ready for Mark Stevens? We're almost ready. Let me just tell you about him, though. He's a world-renowned hypnotherapist and meditation expert. And a little bit of that has me a little nervous. What do you guys think? A hypnotherapist? I think of the episode immediately of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when Carlton got hypnotized
Yeah.
along with Will.
Yeah, you know how I feel about some of those things. I am never I'm not skeptical because it's been used for a long time, but I'm really curious. And I hear we're also going to be doing something as well too, where he does a little demonstration with a fort. But there's
No, that's meditation.
That's different. Yeah, and that's the
he's both. He does
exciting
both.
part.
Yeah,
Right? Like I think we need and until you do it, then you start seeing the benefits and you start feeling it. The hypnotherapist side, I've never experienced, to be honest with you. So I'm excited. But the meditation, I think it's someone or something that we should all practice at least once, especially in the industry that we're in.
yeah.
No.
Hey, before we get to him though, I want to show off this really cool video. You know, I'm a space nerd. I love anything that has to do with it. And NASA has released a video of the sun, which isn't all that exciting, but this is a time lapse video of the sun over the past 10 years. And you can see those arcing sunspots and those radiation coming off the sun. It's really cool. Now, I wouldn't watch this for 10 hours straight, but I know some people would. But it is just an incredible view. In fact, Dan, if you could fast forward this a little bit, can you scroll ahead? What year are we in right now? Yeah, let's move it ahead. Yeah, there. Let's stop right there. Let's see where we are now. All right, 2014, feeling good right around Christmas. I remember. Yeah, it felt nice and sunny that day. Let's go a little bit
What?
forward. Let's keep on going. Let's see this thing. Okay, yeah, we're into 2015. Yeah. The good news is that they had one camera off frame in there too. But here's 2016. Oh, this is right when the Cubs won the World Series. Oh,
Oh,
looks good.
John.
Really good. But how cool is that? Like, we don't get a great look at our sun besides what we see with our eyes, or but to see what is actually happening on the surface, how much is coming off of it, and all the crazy stuff that happens. I love it.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
interesting to me.
it doesn't look like it changed too much just in the images. Not that this is a scientific analyzation of it, but they say that the sun's rays are so much stronger that they are a lot more dangerous, something to be aware of. But this image kind of looked the same in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think the sun is probably one of those areas we're still learning a ton about, and it's incredible that the radiation that comes off the sun can have direct effects to radio waves that happen on our planet. Solar flares do a lot of damage, can do damage. There's a lot of studies on what happens when planes, even like us inside a plane, solar flares can affect the radiation for that. So they even change plane paths around depending on the solar radiation, stuff like that. It's pretty incredible.
Wear your
Yeah.
sunscreen, okay?
Okay,
Yes.
you have not lied there. You guys, let's try to get Mark Stevens here. As we said before, he is a world-renowned hypnotherapist and meditation expert, and he's going to teach us about his methods and how they can help with anxiety, stress, and even overeating, probably along with some other disorders. So we're welcoming him in now. Mark Stevens joining us. Mark, thank you so much for being here.
Is he
Oh, he
Seems like
looks a
we're
little
connecting.
fronzen.
He's hypnotized.
Yeah, he's connecting to the audience.
He's getting in the mood. He's setting the scene.
Mark, we have a ton of questions here.
Oh, this is
We
entertaining.
sure do. Okay, let us try to work through some of these technological difficulties right now.
Right.
And we'll get him in. And he mentioned working on anxiety and de-stressing.
Oh, there he is. I think we got him.
Oh, Mark, hi. Can you hear us?
Oh, I lied.
Good morning. I can hear you loud and clear.
There we go. We're
wonderful.
rolling.
I can hear you.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Fantastic. Good morning. Good morning, all.
Yes, what exactly is hypnotherapy?
Okay, so hypnotherapy is a state of relaxation that allows you to change your mindset, to reset your mindset so you can feel differently and act and behave differently. It's been going for thousands of years. So in the ancient Egyptian sleep temples, people would come in with a problem and they'd lie down, and the hypnotist of the day would stand there and look them in the eyes and say, "You are well. You are well," over and over and over again. And the person would get up and amazingly, they'd feel great.
Oh, okay. Believe me, we're working through just a little bit of a delay here, Mark. But that sounds amazing. It also sounds a little too good to be true. What is actually happening to the body and the mind when someone's hypnotizing you?
Sure. So what happens is, through a variety of techniques, I've been doing meditation for over 50 years. So I like to combine meditation in with the hypnosis. So it helps the person get relaxed first. So physically, they go into a state of relaxation, and then through visualization or through positive suggestion, you're able to basically reset the mind. So the mind calms down and then is able to visualize things as being real. So for a sports person, you'll have them visualizing themselves performing better, or a musician. For someone doing exams, they'll visualize themselves or think about themselves succeeding, and that changes the way they feel. And so, you know, obviously in these times with all the anxiety and stress, you can have a person feel differently so they're not as anxious and stressed out.
When you relieve stress from someone, what does that manifest itself as? Obviously, you feel a little better, but what sorts of behaviors can you help change by reducing the anxiety with someone?
Yeah, a lot of people, John, for smoking, they'll reach for a cigarette, they reach for food when they're stressed out. So when stress is increasing, people are more inclined to reach for, substances, external ways of distracting themselves, of feeling better. So the hypnosis helps everything from weight challenges to anxiety and stress to insomnia to stopping smoking. And it's been around for a long time. Doctors were trained in the US Civil War, in World War I and World War II, in hypnotic techniques to help with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, as well as anxiety, and in some cases to use what we call hypnotic anesthesia, where if they ran out of chemical anesthetic, they could hypnotize the person to numb the pain. It's quite amazing.
Hey, Mark, so you mentioned it, right? Where you kind of say you are well. And sometimes we fail to realize how powerful the mind really is. So I've heard, my producers have told me, I don't know, you're going to walk us through a minute of that meditation, that letting go. How do we start?
Yeah, sure. I've been doing this for over 50 years. So as a sick child, I had chronic asthma. So I learned simple breathing techniques and simple meditation techniques that you could do in 1 or 2 minutes. So a lot of people think, I haven't got half an hour, I haven't got 20 minutes. So with the 1 minute meditation, what we're going to do is just get ourselves into a comfortable place. And from there, we're going to feel our breathing flowing in and out. Then from there, what I'm going to do is just use some simple words. So as we breathe in, we'll do breathing in peace. And as we breathe out, breathing out, release. So, and we can do that with the eyes open or closed. So are you ready to start?
Yes.
Yes.
I was practicing. Yes.
Let's do this 1 minute meditation, Chicago and USA. All right. So sitting comfortably with your eyes open or closed.
Whoa.
And closed or open, and just feel your breathing flowing in and out. You feel the breath flowing in through your nostrils, feel the air flowing in and out, and feel which part of your body is moving with each breath. Just be mindful and aware of the breath flowing in and flowing out without even trying to make any effort. Just feel the breath flow in and out. And thoughts will come, thoughts will go. Let those thoughts just drift away as you focus your attention on your breathing. And then on the next in-breath, think the thought peace. Breathing in, the thought peace. Breathing out, release. So as you breathe in, think peace. As you breathe out, release. Breathing in, peace. Out, release. And you can even think the thought, I feel at peace, I am at peace. Breathing in, I feel at peace. Breathing out, I am at peace. And let any tension drain from your body. Let your shoulders relax. Let your back relax. Let your neck muscles relax. Allow the breath to flow in and out effortlessly as you breathe in peace, breathe out, release. And there's our minute meditation. And look, the beauty of doing something just for 1 minute. You know, we've got so much pressure coming in with all the world events going on, from Corona to the BLM movement and everything, where some people are getting quite anxious about, all sorts of things happening. You know, in Australia, we just were told yesterday, $270 billion on defence because it's not looking good. So there's stress coming at us constantly, and then there's financial worries, there's family worries, there's health worries. People are going through grieving and loss and everyday conflict and pressure. That stress keeps building up. And if we don't have a release valve, then, it can end up with, affecting us in so many different ways.
So what if you do that and you're still stressed?
You need to do, it's a good idea, a good question. You need to do more. So sometimes 1 minute is not enough. You might need 2 or 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, we've created on our Mindfree app and hypnosis sessions for years that people can listen to that distract their mind and teach them to meditate easily. We're all busy. So, and because the stress keeps building up, if we're in the red zone, the fight or flight zone constantly, the pressure's on, the deadlines, the next meeting, this has to be done, that has to be done. Sometimes we need to keep, or we definitely need to keep countering that stress with a minute or 2 or 3 of meditation. But with meditation, there's so many ways you can meditate. You can do a walking meditation. I've got a cup of tea while I was waiting to chat. I did a mindful tea meditation. Tai Chi, yoga are all moving meditations. So there's literally 1,000 ways to meditate, from staring at a candle to using a mantra to prayer to affirmations. Because meditate means to focus, to be aware and to concentrate on something. So wax on, wax off, the Karate Kid, that became meditation. So we can basically turn almost anything, doing the dishes, sweeping the floor, we can turn anything into a meditation, and it calms the mind down. What it does, it releases feel-good chemicals and reduces the cortisol and the stress levels. So it's something, as we practice it, it gets easier and easier, and you only have to do a minute or 2 at a time because it has a cumulative effect.
Well, Mark, normally I'm a little skeptical on these sorts of things, but I got to say, I felt about as relaxed as I've felt in a long time during that 1 minute. I wish we didn't have another 45 minutes of show to do. I would have gone straight to a nap. But Mark, really impressive stuff, and we appreciate you for joining us here today.
Love to chat to you guys again. Thank you for your time, and hello to everybody from Australia.
All right.
Australia.
Learn more on Facebook at markstevens.au and at markstevens.com.au. Great stuff there.
There you go. All right, guys, let's keep this party going. LaTanya Johnson, who's known as the mother of Englewood, has been keeping the kids in her community safe by offering a place for them to go after school and during the summer. Now, things have changed because of the pandemic, of course, but now she's also facing a new challenge, finding a new location for her organization. Take a look.
We put up walls, from no one, state government, we had no funding, so we did it all ourselves, but we got it all done. And then March 3rd, 2018, we established this place as we opened up this center for the youth in the West Englewood community. Now that we created the space where kids can come and just feel safe and engaged and involved in a positive environment. Kids can get their haircuts, they can come here, they can eat, they can kick their shoes off and just be kids, be free. They don't have to worry about hearing the gun violence and all the other things that's, happening out there in the street. They're here where they're learning also because education is key. And so this is a place that they call home and it's absolutely, totally free. A lot of our donations just come from the people that see us on our Facebook page or, hear about us. The favorite part of the center to me is to walk in the door and know that this is a home for the kids. Sometimes I don't even know if it's real. Is this what I created? Is this what I did for my community, for my kids? This post is not about sympathy or anything. I just want to let you guys know. I was talking to this lady. I have my center right next door. And so she was like, okay. We was getting ready to sign off on the building. We're going to knock it down, rebuild it into a community center. Where do I go? When I first heard, I was like upset. I was mad. God tells me to slow down, and I did that before I made and did my live video about what was happening. I had to sit back and think about what I needed to say. If I said it before, I would have let it all out. I would have let everything out. I was just kind of mad and just trying to figure out, what's my next steps, what I need to do. And the first thing that came to mind was like, you need to let those folks who support you, who donates, you have to make them aware of what's going on. I'm okay with them buying a building. And me being in the community, I just should have been told. Something should have been said to me.
You see that? You see that?
I just want to say that I am that little black girl that was out here with nothing to do. And this is why I created what I created today for our children, because there's still a need. The same area I lived in, there's still a need. There's still a need. There's nothing down here for these kids. I'm just ready to move forward. I have this GoFundMe, and I'm looking for those who know how much our children are in need to support us on this so that, we can have another grand opening.
We've highlighted LaTanya as a hero of Chicago before, and she needs our support now more than ever. They have raised over $31,000 thanks to people who have donated to its GoFundMe page. And now if you'd like to contribute, the page will be open for 6 more days. Visit her Facebook page, LaTanya and the Youth of Englewood, for more information. What an incredible story here. You have people that are working so hard for the community, and really it's that community effort that makes everything possible.
Yeah.
What I love about her is that when adversity comes before her, she takes that moment. Obviously, I think that we all take, but then she never seems defeated by it. She keeps on plowing through it. And I think that's a lesson to anyone out there that's ever done any community work or things that benefit other people instead of yourself. There are so many things that stand in the way of you getting the goals accomplished, but just keeping your feet moving sometimes is what it takes, and it's the only way to get it done.
Yeah. Well, I love the way you said that. She's always doing inspiring things. She keeps on inspiring us all.
For sure. All right, next up, we're going to talk to one of the original sharks on Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington. He is also joined by his mentee, serial entrepreneur Mark Timm. They recently co-wrote a book together called Mentor to Millions, which talks about the importance of having mentors and being a mentor, and they're going to share some of that with us today. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Great to be here. Hey, thanks for having us.
Hey, let's start with Kevin. All right, so when in your career, when in your life as an accomplished person did you say, it's important to me to develop mentorships, mentees to other people? How did that come about?
Well, so as an entrepreneur, when I was a young entrepreneur, I can admit I was maybe a little bit egotistical and cocky about my abilities. I can look back and say that, but I hit a wall, and I was good at marketing and sales, but I wasn't good at finance and raising capital. And to build my business, I needed to raise capital. So I'd been turned down by 5 banks. Finally, somebody talked me into getting a mentor in the finance world. Now, this was a former bank president who said, he walked in and he said, hey, he said, where'd you try to get money? I gave him the 5 banks that turned me down. He said, I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal. I'm going to help you raise the money. I'll get you money from one of those banks that turned you down. And then you're going to want to maybe do something with me in a longer term fashion. And he became my finance mentor and then raised me $3 million. We used that to grow the business. I said to myself, this is the way to grow businesses, is getting the right people in, create the dream team.
So Mark, how do you get in this conversation then?
Well, obviously, Kevin is a mentor of mine. I've had mentors my whole life. And the fact of the matter is that I think everybody should have mentors. You absolutely should have mentors in your life. And, I was once told the power of who. You already know everybody you need to know to get where you want to go in life. It's just, who are they and will they help you? And the bottom line is that if you find someone like Kevin, or you have someone in your life, you go to them and see how you can help them, ask them to be a mentor, and then be their best student and get out of the way, because your life is about to change.
Now, guys, finding a mentor, and I love all the mentors I've had, and I don't think I would be where I am right now without them. For those who are graduating this year, for those who are students, et cetera, even who are older, how do we find a mentor? How do you know what questions to ask? What if you're a little shy? I mean, there's a lot that goes on in that relationship that you build.
It's even tougher coming out of school, because they don't teach you in school generally how to do these kinds of things. So I say that you can't just sit at home. Mentors are not going to be calling you, okay? So you have to get out. When I met this finance mentor, it was through some business associations, chambers of commerce, that kind of thing. But for example, I created and am one of the founding members of the Entrepreneurs Organization, EO. It is the largest organization of entrepreneurs in the world. We're in 50 countries, over 150 cities. And when you join EO as an entrepreneur, we assign a team of advisors and mentors to you. So there are different organizations that are in tune with the mentoring aspects, but you need to get out there, do research. Let's say you're looking at a certain industry. Maybe it's retired executives in that industry. Just one quick example. A gentleman came in, he was in the business of selling products to the military, and asked me to help him and give him some advice. I live in Tampa, St. Pete, Florida. MacDill Air Force Base is right here. They've got retired generals. Their business model as a retired general is to mentor and advise companies. So took him out there. We got a retired general, joined our dream team, and he opened amazing doors inside the military. So you just have to put a plan together, think about it. Where do you go? Don't sit, get out there and make it happen.
So you can't, it's really weird if you walk up to a person and say, hi, can you be my mentor? Like, how do you foster this genuine relationship to hopefully get something out of it?
You got to show genuine interest in them. You find someone that you want to be your mentor and you start asking them questions, learn about what they do. People really want to share, but they're busy. People like Kevin are busy, but if you show interest in them and you ask them for advice and help, then they'll start sharing it. And then all you have to do, if you're listening out there and you're a college student, you're a young person, just be your mentor's best student and they will pour into you. Mentors are looking for mentees that will do what they suggest and be their best student. And then they'll invest in you beyond your wildest imaginations. And that's what our book, Mentor to Millions, is all about, the exponential impact of mentorship relationships.
Kevin, I wanted to ask, one of my favorite speeches I've ever seen was Arnold Schwarzenegger and the myth of the self-made man. He gave it as a commencement address to Houston. There is no such thing as a self-made man or a self-made woman. There's people along the way that help you. And I imagine that's a great part about a mentor-mentee relationship, but it's more than just the X's and O's. I imagine there's just the common chat back and forth, the encouragement, through the downtimes, just to have a sounding board for this stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, mentors can do a lot of things. Sounding boards. I have many people that I mentor, and I never know where things are going to go sometimes. But it might be about challenges with COVID. This is one of the things Mark and I said. I mean, we wrote this book before COVID. We turned it in, the manuscript, in January, and COVID hit after that. So we realized that mentors are important to us and important to everybody, but sounding boards, mentors can help you bring on top executives or consultants. They can help you raise capital. They can open doors for new distribution channels, et cetera. So there's many different functions that mentors can help provide in a relationship. And and I think, as Mark said, one of the important things is being a good student, because one challenge I've had is mentoring students and then get back with them a month later and, oh, well, I just didn't get a chance to do any of the things that we talked about last time, right? So if I'm putting time into somebody and they're not able to utilize the advice, then it's kind of not too exciting for a mentor if you're not a good student, as Mark said.
Now, you guys wrote the book in January, you pushed it out. Now it's going to be available in the coming months. What do you hope people get out of the book? Because it's a book that I think is super useful for the journey of any career, really.
If you're somebody out there and you want to have an impact in the world, you're going to need mentors. That's the secret to, Steve Jobs, Buffett, all of these successful, they all have mentors. That's their secret that people don't realize, is they have mentors. So the book is about being a mentor, and it's about getting the right mentor. And so if they read this book, they can go to getmtm.com or kevinmentor.com, and they can learn more about our book. And the bottom line is, if you want to be a mentor to others, or you want to get the right mentor, then this is a book that's going to help you. This is a book that's going to inspire you. We've got a friend of ours that's reading it right now, and literally he's texting me at the end of every chapter going, I can't stop reading it. I love this book. This is what I needed right now during these uncertain times. We want to be an answer during uncertain times and inspire people to impact through mentorship.
I need this book.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of, when we think of mentor-mentee relationship, we think of, all the advice coming from here down to here. But mentors grow so much too with their relationship with mentees, and just giving them a broader understanding of, walking through someone else's shoes.
I think that is exactly right, John. I'm on a few boards, public boards and private boards. Every single company that I get involved with, there's other board members. They're in other businesses. There's other relationships. I mean, a mentor actually can certainly benefit and learn some new things across the board. And I mean, I'll give you just one quick example. I joined the board of a public company. They're in the energy drink beverage business. I've never been in beverages. And now for 5 years, I've been in a public company in the beverage business, competitors like Coke and Pepsi and Monster and Red Bull and all these guys. And I have learned amazing things in this industry. So I've done what I've done by bringing in my expertise, but it also has been a powerful relationship for me with other board members and other learning curves too. So it's a two-way street for sure.
I can't wait.
We got to get this book. You ready, Deanna?
I am so
We got to start
ready.
our book club. Okay, Kevin and Mark, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Great being here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Make
Thanks
sure
for
you
having
keep
us.
up with Kevin Harrington on Instagram at Real Kevin Harrington. And of course, here's the book Mentor to Millions that they wrote together. And Mark Tim, you can keep up with Mark Tim on Instagram and Twitter at the Mark Tim and mentortomillionsbook.com. Mentortomillionsbook.com.
That's awesome.
My birthday's coming up, John. So I'm ready.
Girl, I know that's a lie. I know when your birthday is.
John, my birthday's Saturday, so thank you in advance.
That's true. There we go. There we go. Felicia, you're not going to be my mentee. I always tell my mentees never lie. And girl, you just broke the cardinal sin. Yeah. What's yours? December 16th or something like that?
Yeah, wow. I'm shocked that you got the day too. Just
I got my
Alicia, you
number
can't
10.
claim a summer birthday when your birthday's in the middle of winter.
well, I said it was coming up. I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
say
true.
when
You're
it was
lying.
coming up. You know, you guys, you got to pay attention if you want to be a good mentee. Okay, so our next guest, guys, is Leslie Cooper Brand. She's the owner of Prairie Fruits Farm in Champaign-Urbana, and she's going to tell us about a partnership with celebrity chef Rick Bayless. Hello, and thank you for being here. Looks like Leslie is joining in.
I can't wait to talk to her because I love Champaign-Urbana. Y'all know I went to school there,
Yeah.
lived there for a while. Might be going there this weekend for a little drinky poo, but I can't wait. Maybe I'll have to stop by Prairie Fruits Farm. I know that place pretty well. Everyone loves it in the area, and what an awesome partnership that they've got coming up.
Hey,
Morning.
Leslie, how's it going?
Let's see, can she hear us?
Looks like we don't have an audio right now.
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, good. Yay.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, we're doing good. Okay, thank you. We're doing good. It looks like we're just working through a slow technology day, but we're glad you're here. You're actually working with celebrity chef Rick Bayless. Tell us about these Victory cheese boxes that you guys are making.
Yeah, so the Victory Cheese movement was born out of the pandemic crisis. The cheese, artisan cheese industry is affected by the pandemic, mostly because a lot of us rely on restaurant sales for our business. And so folks in the artisan and farmstead creamery business and industry came together to help the small scale artisan cheesemakers through this Victory Cheese movement. So we contacted Rick Bayless about a possible collaboration since he buys and uses a lot of our cheese. And he was immediately, yes, I'm in, let me know how you want me to help. And so we have dairies in Illinois, Osprey Fruits Farm and Creamery, Ludwig Creamery, which is just east of us in Fithian, Illinois, and Marcoute Jersey Creamery, which is down in southern Illinois. So the box contains each of our cheeses, a locally made jam called Autumnberry Jam, and a locally made baguette bread. And folks can also get a copy of Rick Bayless's autographed cookbook, More Mexican Cooking Every Day.
Now, I
Oh,
lived
yes.
down in Champaign-Urbana for about 10 years or so. And
Yeah,
still,
that's the box. Yep.
And the proceeds go.
And 10% of the proceeds are going to Rick Bayless's Frontera Farmer Foundation, of which I am a board member.
That's great. So what's the difference between like normal gelato, which I know you guys do at the farm there, or you don't do normal gelato, you do goat milk gelato, which is it, does it taste different? Is the texture different? What's it about?
Well, actually, the texture is, I think, creamier than regular gelato. Our gelato contains 80% goat milk, our goat milk. And we make it with very fresh ingredients and really high quality flavoring ingredients like high quality vanilla, high quality chocolate. You know, you would be hard pressed to know that it was goat milk. A lot of people think goat milk has a distinct taste. Our milk is actually very creamy and sweet tasting. And so when it's made into gelato, it just accentuates the creaminess and sweetness.
I didn't know that. Something new, something different, something we'll all have to check out and all
Yeah.
have to try. We have to thank you so much for joining us. I know we're having a little bit of issue with the technology and everything, but we want to get your information out there. Prairie Fruits Farm and Creamery. You make sure you check them out. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can get all the details you need for that. Thank you so much for joining us. And please keep us posted on everything you have going on, Leslie. Really cool.
That's great. Hey, let me get you a quick weather forecast here today because we've lost a little bit of the humidity, but we have still have the heat outside with temperatures already into the mid to upper 80s across the area even before noon. So it's going to be a hot day, but the dew points have gone from the 70s over the last couple days into the 60s. Still a little sticky out there, but yeah, our dew point at about 10 a.m. was 66, and now our dew point's down to 64. That'll continue to fall throughout the day. Just a gorgeous shot out there. 88 degrees. Tell you what, I think we need to round that sucker up to 90 because we're already at 88 at O'Hare. I was on the fence on 90. I went with 88, but I'm going to be a couple degrees short, I think. Feels like 89 out there with the heat index. And as you look at the next 7 days, 90s the rest of the way out. Now, you can't rule out a stray shower or storm on really any of these days, but it's going to be above average. The dew points, though, will be a lot lower Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The mugginess returns Sunday, and with that comes some rain showers as well Monday into Tuesday. But right now, we're approaching a high-pressure system is into the area, so we're just going to get a real dome of nice, although warm air for the next couple days and for the weekend.
All right, we're all looking forward to the weekend.
Hey, it's Brandon Pope.
Yeah, let's talk some sports. Sports in 60, or 60-ish, as we call it. And I want to wish everybody a happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yes,
indeed. For many, the first of the month is the time to, pay up the bills. Well, the Mets have a big one every July 1st. Today is the day where the Mets pay Bobby Bonilla $1.19 million. This is every July 1st.
Yes.
Even though he hasn't played for the Mets since 1999. Okay? I was 8 years old when he was playing for the Mets.
It's a great story because he was still under contract and they could have given him a buyout for $6 million. But the Mets at the time had all this money in Bernie Madoff fund that they were like, oh man, we're going to be set forever. We got all these double-digit returns, blah, blah, blah. So they're like, well, why spend $6 million now when we could just spend $25 million over 25 years? And worked out real well for Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah, it didn't work out too well for the Mets, though. I mean, being burned by Bernie Madoff, like a lot of people were in that Ponzi scheme, this is the end result. So now they're on the hook for $1.19 million every July 1st until 2035. What a deal. This is like the best deal ever.
What's ironic about it this year is, first of all, he already makes each year more than the vast majority of players that play baseball. But especially this year, with their prorated salaries, he makes more than like 90% of baseball or some astronomical number. And he doesn't have to lift a finger to be able to do it. So it's pretty incredible.
I'd love to see them catch up with Bobby Bonilla at some point, see what he's doing with all that money. I'm really interested because I know he's got it.
Yeah.
Something else I want to mention here, the NBA restart. July is the month. We are in it. July 30th, NBA returns. But the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, is saying that if coronavirus does spike in that bubble they have in Orlando, they will be canceling the NBA. So it's not a full speed ahead. It's we're going to go forward, and if things get bad, we're going to take the actions we have to.
I tell you what, Pope. I am waiting on bated breath for anything to actually start. The Cubs are practicing today at Wrigley Field, and I know we all have our hopes high, and I want sports as much as the next person. But until these games get started, a lot changes week to week, and things have changed considerably from 2 or 3 weeks ago when they made all these announcements. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a real battle, and it's interesting with baseball. Just announced that MLB will not and cannot supposedly release the names of players who do test positive for the virus. Whereas the NBA, we're hearing about all kinds of high-profile players that are getting it. What happens? What is the MLB's plan? If a player gets the virus, what happens to their season? They're not bubbled, it seems like. They're going to be so far playing at their respective arenas with no fans. So it just, the big question is, how essential is sports? I know we all want to see sports,
Yeah.
but
It's interesting
that
you bring
important.
that up. If you, when you told me in March what was happening, my reaction was, I can't imagine going a couple weeks without baseball. I can't imagine going months without baseball. Not to say that I don't want to see it, but now that we've gone through this, now that we're 3-4 months into this sucker, it is really, I think I could wait till 2021 to see baseball again, which is crazy for me. I want to see it, but
You know what I'm intrigued about? You're more of a baseball guy than me. This is one of the only times I would actually want to watch every baseball game. It's a short. The reason why, it's a shortened season, so the stakes are even higher. 60 games. I have been pushing for years that baseball should shorten the games. That there's way too many regular season games. They're shortening this season to 60 games. That means 1 game, 2 games, 3 games sliding. That's huge.
yeah, for
Stakes
sure.
are high.
I'm so glad we got you on board with it. Hey, I hope we're able to show these images off, but Major League Soccer, is returning in some way, shape, or form. They're doing the tournament that they're going to be doing, and some players are upset, I guess, with some of the food items. I don't know if we have them off, but I think they're real big babies on what they are able to, or what they judge and what they can do or can't do, by the way. So
This is what they're worried about?
yes, this is what they're worried about. All right, so here is the image. If you can, Dan, I don't know if you can click on that tweet itself to show up those photos a little bit.
Oh.
Is that bad?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a boxed lunch.
Yes. They
And
should have seen some of the stuff my parents sent me with to school. I'd open up the bag and be like yep, that looks great. What's so bad about that?
It's a little dry. It looks a little dry.
It's a little Fire Fest, if you ask me. It's a little cheese and bread sandwich, but come on.
One step above. At least they got a banana in there. It's a potato salad.
Order out. What's your complaining?
I guess the thing is, I don't think the MLS has that much money anyway.
Right.
And I know they've lost money. So what can you really expect, right?
I don't know. I look at those things and I'm like, yeah, it's a boxed lunch. That's what you're gonna get. I don't know. Were you a sack lunch guy, Brandon, or no?
It depends. I loved getting it. My mom would do that. She'd put effort in sometimes, or she'd just send me a Lunchable. And I love Lunchables. I still eat Lunchables. So
Yeah, they should just pass out Lunchables. What's up, D?
Let me just say, as a CPS kid, we got boxed lunches and they did not look like that. That looks like problems later on. You know what I'm talking about?
So your CPS lunch was better than the MLS lunch?
Yes. So that's an issue.
hey, go CPS.
You know what? No, I looked forward to the boxed lunches because it had a cookie, it had a fruit, the sandwich, etc. Like, where are the packets of like mayo or whatever?
They're probably in a bag somewhere off where it's like a general thing.
No, it's not supposed to. Okay. All right. Bye.
Order Grubhub. Right?
Well, if you're drinking an adequate amount of beer, then you're good to go anyway. The food doesn't matter. It'll taste better and better over time.
Why would they be drinking beer at the MLS? I see Felicia likes to party.
Beer is meant to be drunk at any sporting event. What do you mean?
Even
All right.
players?
Let's shift gears.
I guess you're
here.
right.
Yeah, let's shift gears. Brandon, you stay in for this story. This is an interesting
Yeah.
one. Okay, so our next guest is an award-winning music video director who's worked with everyone from Diddy to Fall Out Boy to Guns N' Roses. His latest project is a series called Kraka, which flips Black history kind of on its head. It's been met with some controversy. Looking forward to chatting now with Dale Rustighini joining us. Dale, thanks for coming on here today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're a little sideways for us, Dale, actually, if you don't mind rotating the other direction. There we go.
Okay, let me go this way then.
So Dale, Kraka looks interesting. I was watching the trailer, reading a couple things about it. It's flipping the script. It's a neo-Nazi that gets taken back and put into slavery, and it completely flips it. When did you start working on this? What inspired you to make this film or this series?
So what inspired me has been the last few decades of being involved and now married to my wife, Kim, who's Black. And prior to that, having a lot of friends who are Black and brown from various experiences in life and in the entertainment business. I've been told over these past couple of decades by white friends and peers that racism doesn't really exist anymore, that it's I'm imagining something that isn't real when I just have lived something completely opposite of that. So it wasn't until Charlottesville, and not the actual act of Charlottesville, but the ramifications on social media that I felt that was happening. I felt the seismic shift of white nationalistic and white supremacy coming out in ways that I've never seen or felt before in my years of being on this planet. So I said to myself, if this is happening now, racism clearly at an all-time high 3 years ago, I said, what would make these racists, or even not the extremes who you'll never change on either side, but just the bulk of white America who are what I call blind to racism. I used to use the word ignorance or ignorant to racism, but that's too confrontational. So by and large, a lot of white people are blind to what's happening. So I said, what would make them understand that this is wrong? And I said, what if it was their daughter or their mother or their brother or their cousin or sister that was going through the same torturous existence that slaves endured for hundreds of years? And that was the light bulb moment that I had to actually start writing it and creating it. And so it's been about 2.5 years in the making. And we finally decided what she filmed was what they call a proof of concept. And the proof of concept is what you make to prove to a label or a network or a platform that what you have come up with is something worthy of their financial and distribution model involvement. So that's what I did. Right before the pandemic closed everything down, I said to myself, you know what, this is good enough just to put out on its own and let the public weigh in. And so that's been the process that we've been going through. And we dropped that trailer, 90 seconds, which has sort of reverberated right around the world. I mean, in record time, clearly indicates that, at least to some degree, I was correct and right in that racism is alive and well.
Yeah. So I have to ask, I appreciate you, I guess, putting such a provocative message out there in the way that you're doing it, just because it seems as though people are not sensitized to when this happens to Black people, when this happens to Black bodies laying in the street. I want to know what the reaction has been from a white audience, if you've spoken to any peers or such.
So everybody in my immediate circle are largely in entertainment. Outside of some friends and neighbors and family, most everybody are in the space of entertainment and have a better degree of understanding of what I'm talking about and what this is all about. So everybody's been supportive across the board. It's only been, I was surprised. I actually had this conversation earlier with my wife, Kim. We were talking about sort of just I think it's been shared the trailer's been shared 2 or 3 million times just in the last several days. And most of the comments I get from white people are this: how dare you be a race traitor? How dare you show a white woman getting raped? How dare you do something like this to incite a race war? By and large, Black support has been thank you for, and there's been a few who have suggested, how dare you try to take slavery away from us too, which is not the point. But by and large, it's been thank you for making this happen. And I see sometimes some of my team are sharing with me the comments in various boards that a lot of support are coming from Black and brown people that say, yeah, you know what, how are you guys tripping out over seeing this image of 6 seconds of a white woman getting raped, and it's not even a graphic scene? How do what is it about you that makes you uncomfortable enough to speak up about this, but not about any of the other projects or films or TV series that depict Black women or Black men getting raped at the hands of white slave owners? So by and large, across the board support, but it's been the white blind people, and in addition to the white supremacists, that I've received the number of death threats and hate voicemails and hate emails and whatnot. But by and large, white people have been mostly up in arms from the minority group. And a lot of the white people are like, you know what, I understand what you're trying to do, but they still feel it's too extreme for them, which then, you know, they quickly get the response, well, if you think this is bad for you in a fantasy world, what do you think is what it's been like in real life for them? So that's by and large sort of like the ebb and flow of the conversation has been.
Dale, we can, or at least I can tell from the tone in your voice that there are, you know, moments of loss of words, moments where you kind of, you know, don't even know what to say. And I think it's interesting that you mentioned you were working on this film 2 years ago, and it just shows that things are still relevant today. I mean, look at us now with the current events, with things going on in our country. Like you said, there are specific things that we have to keep a conversation on and educate and start experiencing it through different waves. And I think that's what you're doing here.
Well, yeah, you know what? I say this to anybody that questions my motivation in this. Clearly, it's been expressed that I'm trying to help white people mostly see racism through a new lens. And from a creative writer director standpoint, I'm basically taking science fiction and using it as a Trojan horse to get racism into a where people can start to see, okay, wow, this is new. He's flipped it, and I now see in a way that I never imagined for. And also, here we are in the summer of 2020, and racism is alive and well. So clearly, nothing in my lifetime and before my lifetime has worked. No kumbaya song moment, no speech, no politician, no miniseries, no film, nothing has worked. So how, I don't want to say how dare anybody, but why questions a new approach when clearly nothing else has worked? There is no expert on solving race relations. If somebody was, we wouldn't be in this situation. So I appreciate you for seeing that and understanding what I'm trying to do.
Well, Dale, it's clear that you have good intentions, and intent's important. I think people are just concerned about impact and what the impact of this could be. I haven't seen the film yet, but I saw the trailer, and for me, the trailer, as a Black man, it evokes stereotypes of Black people that I think white supremacists often have used over time as reasons why Black people should be in submission.
Sure.
Like the image of a Black man, group of Black men raping a white woman and things like that. That was tough to watch, but that art does that. Art pushes. And so I understand that. Do you have any concerns that this could be co-opted or weaponized by white supremacists or even racists who, you know, argue the word cracker is the same equivalent as the N-word?
So here's my answer to that. Anything worth trying to get done, anything that's as important as racism or any cause on that level, you can't walk down the middle. Again, clearly nothing has worked. So it was conscious for me to use the word cracker, which is a term I learned early on in my life and has stuck with me all these years. And I'd never imagined that 30-something years later, it would be so pivotal in my life or in a creative endeavor. But cracker, I didn't use a title called The Enslaved or The Supremacist for that reason. I didn't want to be so covert. America is broken, and America needs to be cracked over the head with really bad. So the word cracker does that. The trailer, which, mind you, have one scene, doesn't have one drop of blood, and tame by anything seen on cable recently, it's incredible to me that people interpret that rape scene as something that's vile and brutal when in fact, again, by comparison to what we've seen in 12 Years a Slave, as one example, and many other films and TV series, it's shocking that people find that, white people find that so insulting, I guess word you can use, when it's been done to Blacks and Browns for forever. So you can't walk down the middle. Me personally, anything in life that I've done, it's either yes or no, black or white, in or out. I'm not the guy that rides down the middle. How do you make a point about how bad and brutal slavery has been to African Americans by trying to make the enslaver somebody who's nice and kind? Now, without giving away the entire series, and they're always the bad guys, good guys. We have abolitionists. We have components play that balance it out. But when you want to get word out on anything, whether it's an album or a TV series or a film, you need to be able to put something out there that people click onto and engage them. And that's really what we've done by design with the 90-second trailer.
Dale, I think also you mentioned 12 Years a Slave, which was brilliant piece of work. I think some of the concern people also have is that you're a white man doing this, and there's a concern that there's not enough black voices as a part of this. Are you kind of passing the mic to black people? Are there black people involved in the writing process of this movie and the production?
So 1,000%, what people are starting to learn, and once we go out wide with this, people, I have a black co-writer, I have largely a black production team, which is, you know, for much of my career, I've doing over 1,000 music videos, much of which have been hip hop and R&B. My community entertainment is largely black, so I have the support of them, as well as, you know, one of my co-executive producers, Britt Dellum, whose dad, John Dellums, was a 30-year congressman and out of the Prairie who helped Mandela in apartheid, as well as get some support of from the Mothers of the Movement, Sabrina Fulton, Gwen Garner, Nadia Fisher, their PR, some of the Central Park Five. I've got tremendous support from a lot of people in the community, which we haven't even touched yet. So when we do go out wide with this, a lot of that story will be told. And it was largely my all black female PR team are just using their phones and their friends in social media to help get word out without spending any money on publicity at all. They were the ones saying, no, we need to drop this on Juneteenth. And so again, once people understand that it's not just the white guy out there trying to be provocative, and use racism as a way to further his career. Again, that's nowhere near the case. And I'll add that my wife Kim, her brother in 1981, long before I knew her, he was walking to FDU, Fairleigh Dickinson University in New Jersey, and he was attacked and killed by two white men who threw him over a bridge and left him for dead. And the FBI and the local police, after months of investigation, didn't even end up charging these two guys. So, yeah, I mean, once people understand that it's not just this one white guy, and there's a whole lot of support with him to tell this story, to help see racism through a new lens, that I think people will start to say, okay, let's see this through, you know, with open hearts and open minds.
Okay. We have to wrap. We only have less than a minute left, but I mean, when we consume a project like this, where do we take it? Where do we go from here?
So, like any story, whether it's Ed Norton's character in American History X, there's going to be an arc. There's going to be a beginning, middle, and end. And any bad guy who ends up becoming the good guy, there's a story and character arc to follow, and that's what everybody will come out of this with. And one real quick bit: Hakeem Kai Kazim, who played Dex in the version that you guys have seen of Cracker, he was on set, I think, in Nigeria when his manager agent got him the script of Cracker, and he was very, very curious about it. And before he ended up taking the role, which was for SAG New Media Scale, which is basically no money, and flew him up all the way from Nigeria to where we filmed it here in the US. He wanted to speak to me on the phone. And again, being a Nigerian and spending time all around the world and dealing with racism on his own personal level, he wanted to hear from me why I created the show. And he completely understood where I was coming from. And he came, and to this day, he says, yeah, this is the most incredible project I've ever been on. And he's been like Pirates of the Caribbean, film sets, Troy, the TV series, Dynasty, and many others. So when people finally hear from me and we talk about why this and how this and what this is, it's always been something that they've supported and wanted to be involved with and help move the message forward, which we hope, again, get the conversation going and then evolve from there. I don't have all the answers. I'm just the guy that knew something needed done to help start the conversation again of something that people said didn't exist.
Yeah, Dale, we appreciate your time. Thanks for engaging with us here today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Let's get the information up on the screen if you choose to check out Kraka. There it is on Instagram at realragekrakaworld.com. Interesting conversation, guys. I appreciate your feedback. My initial reaction was, oh, okay, yeah, it's a flip of the script. And when I have such a simplistic reaction, that's usually my first cue that I'm not digging deep enough. So I just appreciate your guys' questions because it makes me, revisit my own naivety on some of these things.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, it's getting us all talking.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Well, we will be back here at 2 p.m. We're going to be speaking to wedding dress designer Haley Page and friend of the Jam, sexologist Tayomi Morgan, to see how they're holding up during quarantine and during COVID-19 and how they're moving forward. See you then, guys.
We'll see you at 2.
Sexology.